Hello, welcome to HITC Sport, and don't worry, Ademola Lookman, alright? It's okay, you're safe. And I realise that alone is probably the same creepy catchphrase for ice cream drivers across the country. Bit of a weird thing to say to me when I'm just buying a Calippo. But right now, Lookman, listen, you are probably getting the evil eye everywhere you look. Even on Monday morning, I'm pretty sure the ladies in the Fulham canteen are probably going to be spitting in your bowl of lasagna. Who has lasagna for breakfast? And you should be relieved there's a lockdown, because otherwise you'd probably have angry Fulham fans trying to rip out your kidneys in a Tesco car park. So don't worry, lads, okay? I'm not going to twist the knife. I'm not going to compare your footballing ability to a flooded telephone box, because that's just patently not true. Listen, you beat Fulham's greatest Fulham's only attacking threat this season, but I'm sorry, I cannot defend that penalty. Not even OJ Simpson's bastard lawyer could defend that penalty. Listen, Lookman, this isn't a hate video. I'm not even angry. I'm just confused. Looking at that penalty in a relegation battle, it's a bit like meeting someone from Norwich whose mother and sister aren't the same person. It just doesn't make sense. This was the last minute of a Premier League match. This isn't a school PE session run by a teacher who was recently let out of jail. On one hand, fair play for having the cheek, the audacity, and the confidence to try and morph into Pirlo in the last minute. It's just a shame the execution was on par with chunks. The complete lack of respect shown to Lucas Fabianski. This is a guy who's kept goal in the Premier League nearly 300 times. And you tried to chip it down the middle? This was a relegation battle. Fulham have 4 points from 8 games. This was just massively inappropriate. It was like turning up to a business meeting in a panda onesie. It's like turning up to your grandmother's funeral only to repeatedly dab in front of the coffin. It's like filling out an application form for a senior job at Google and writing in crayon. I might understand if this confidence came from bagging 40 goals a season every year, but you've only ever scored 2 Premier League goals in your life, and you've never taken a senior penalty ever. So the utter audacity, the cheek to attempt this for your first ever penalty in the sport, it's like taking your first ever driving lesson and choosing to grip the wheel with your feet. What do you expect is going to happen? Clearly you're going to spend the week picking shards of glass out of your gums. So don't give your club's most important penalty in years to a guy with no experience. This is the problem with lone players. He knows that whatever happens, he'll be going back to Germany next summer. For him, there's no real long-term consequence. It's like renting out a caravan for 3 months. It doesn't really matter if you take a dump in the washing machine. You'll be going back to your own home at the end of the summer. For him, this is just an audition to advertise himself for a bigger club. So again, it doesn't really matter if Fulham go down, just as long as he comes out of the season looking good. He was probably praying for this to become a viral clip on YouTube to get glowing praise on Match of the Day. He'd have Jeremy Lynch bigging him up on TikTok in between takes of kissing his own reflection. And yeah, Lookman would be having his manager talk him up in the post-match interview as some cool, composed finisher with ice running through his veins. He'd be walking down London High Street with his chest puffed out, his face splashed across newspapers, the Eric Cantona of Fulham. Now, if this is a tribute to Antonin Panenka, the creator of the cheeky spot kick, then this is a pretty strange way of doing it. It's like a junior pilot paying tribute to the Wright brothers by flying a plane headfirst into a airport terminal. Ademola, look man, I'll show you. This is how you do it.
Nice.
See? Very easy. Lads, if Fulham end up in a penalty shootout in the FA Cup this season, do not let this man anywhere near one. And I don't care if he tells you that he's an expert at the ABBA penalty format. I should hope so. He used to play for Waterloo. I said he used to play for Waterloo. Is this thing on? But also, a question for Alexander Mitrovic. What are you doing letting him take that penalty in the first place? This isn't the first time. Remember when he allowed Abu Kubar Kamara to steal a spot kick off him the last time Fulham were in the Premier League? Mitro, you are built like a middleweight boxer. You have a neck tattoo that would scare off most employers in customer service. So don't let a 23-year-old kid take your penalty. You are the club's talisman, the guy paid to score the goals. Sure, you missed one at Sheffield United last week, but don't let that melt your confidence. So Alan Shearer, your supposed idol, he's missed the most penalties in Premier League history with 11, but he didn't spend the next week crying in the shower. And when the referee would point the spot for the next penalty, you didn't see his bowels jump out his throat. You're damn right he was stepping up to take the next one, not letting the likes of James Milner take over his duties. Actually, that's a bad example. Miller's probably a better penalty taker than him. But listen, Metro, the next time a Fulham teammate tries to rob your penalty, oh please, kindly punch them in the face. Would you also let him share a bed with your wife? Come on! Anyway, what happened this week? Man United travelled to Goodison Park, a place where Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has had some horrendous afternoons, and they picked up a great 3-1 win. But for Everton, 3 weeks ago they were talking themselves up as outside title challengers under Carlo Ancelotti. But now they've lost 3 in a row, and Let's look at the knee-jerk reaction.
Honestly, couldn't give a toss anymore. That's me done with us. Nowhere near good enough. Don't care who he is. He's been an absolute disgrace the past 3 games. Even the derby was crap. Time to sack him. Carlo's struggling here. Not good enough. Honestly, he's a washed-up manager. No way we can attract Pete Carlo. Since he's been here, can you honestly say he's improved us? Same old crap most weeks. The writing is on the wall, dear old Carlo. It does not make pleasant reading. Could easily get us relegated if we drop into the bottom 6 sides. Hashtag Ancelotti out. He looks massively out of his depth in this league.
Massively out of his depth. Yes, the guy who won a Premier League and FA Cup in this yeah, okay. Lads, we live in an era where Everton fans, a club who employed David Moyes for 11 years, are losing patience with a 3-time European champion. That's like being an internet swamp dweller like myself, suddenly turning my nose up at a home-cooked meal and a hug from a fellow human being. This is a club who've employed Marco Silva, Big Sam Allardyce and David Unsworth. So complaining about the tactics of Carlo Ancelotti, it's like Little Mix fans complaining about someone singing out of tune on the bus. But also lads, before we move on, a brief interruption to let you know that we are all going to war together. Isn't that exciting? I'm calling on you lads for help. And yes, I realize asking for help off children on the internet makes me sound like that Joseph Kony guy. Or like the YouTube version of Peter Pan, a cartoon character who's clearly on some sort of predator list. But no lads, listen, let me introduce you to the Clash of Creators. A football game between YouTubers. Great concept, except only one problem. How many of these do you think know how to kick a ball? No accusations here, it's a genuine question. Because, you know, just looking at someone like Inapper, I wouldn't be surprised if he spent the game playing with the corner flag. This seems like a great event. But please, for the sake of some footballing ability, get me on that team sheet.
Great ball into the back stick and just missed by the Irish guy.
Because I'm sorry, at the moment, sticking over 20 internet millennials on the pitch together, half of them will probably spend the game tweeting about their lunch, with both captains challenging each other to a game of Connect 4. Never mind the football game, it's a good social experiment, just to see what state they'll be in after going 90 minutes without receiving validation on Instagram. I'm guessing going 2 hours without their phone, they'll resemble a bunch of sweaty alcoholics 3 days into rehab. To be fair, it won't be much of a change for Rodashaw. Come on, do these guys look like footballers?
Hey up and welcome to Callum's Corner. I've had an incredibly stressful morning. I've just done the Christmas food shop and it was an absolute bag of arse. Why are people so stupid and so rude?
Put me up against Cam Kirkham, Thogden and Elliot Hackney and I will promise a hat-trick. No, that is a promise. Let me taste a meaty mistimed tackle from Thogdad's knees. But most of all, let me settle the grudge.
The Irish guy.
Yes, yes!
HITC.
The Irish guy.
Me versus a former member of Football Daily on the same football pitch together. Oh, I'm almost frothing at the mouth. Get the Irish guy to Clash of Creators. Anyway, back in the video. Lads, are Leeds United burnt out already? The first month of the season, I had my Twitter flooded with reminders about that Patrick Bamford violin tattoo. But lads, they've now lost 3 of the last 4 games, and they've lost 4-1 twice in a week. Yes, I know Bamford had the goal stupidly ruled out for offside, but conceding 4 goals at Sellers Park, really? What else? Brighton and Burnley played out a goalless draw, and I'm sorry, but whoever wasted their hard-earned £15 paying for that other sludge fest on Friday night, then you are clearly not someone who should be trusted with the PIN code to a goddamn bank account. £15 to watch Danny Welbeck stumbling about the park? If that's your idea of Friday night entertainment, then you're probably the same type of person to get pumped over the World Knitting Championships. I mean, come on. If you were one of those duped into paying £15 for that, then let me ask you, how many Nigerian princes are you expecting to hear back from on Google Mail? Oh yeah, the word on Southampton, just over a year ago, they were spanked 9-0 at home, and I might have gone a bit overboard. 12 months later, and they went back to the top of the league. Imagine telling any Southampton fan after the utter disgrace where they'd be a year later. Just about nobody would believe you. Most managers wouldn't be able to look their players in the eye after a 9-0 reverse at home. In a cutthroat world where dressing rooms turn on their managers in the blink of an eye, like Jose Mourinho when he was the current Premier League champion and had his players turn on them for the small crime of shouting at the physio. And never mind the fans, who almost certainly wanted Hasenhüttl chucked in a bonfire after that, but the players, they could have been forgiven for assuming he was an overhyped clown. A guy guy without a tactical clue in his brain, and it was about to ruin their reputations and dignity on a weekly basis. So this is credit to Hasenhüttl. The turnaround you've had since then, clawing points off the entire top 6, and now you went back to the top of the league after 8 games? And Danny Ings, after 3 years of irrelevance, stuffed in the Liverpool treatment room with a knee cartilage resembling a bowl of mashed potato, he by all rights should be a washed up lump in the championship, crying over his failed injury-riddled career. But no, Hasenhüttl nearly coached him to the goddamn golden boot. So this is my apology to the German. A year ago I assumed you were a joke, and that comparisons with Klopp was like putting Leonardo DiCaprio in the same acting class as the cast of Hollyoaks. But no lads, he's the real deal. And I'm just gonna say it, I think he should be the next manager of Manchester United. What do you think, Man United fans? Let me know in the comment section below. Hasenhüttl for Old Trafford, you've heard it here first. And if you say,
Oh, we're Man United, we don't take managers from lowly Southampton.
oh, I'm sorry, are we all forgetting where Mauricio Pochettino made his name? And if it's good enough for Barcelona to hire former Southampton managers, then it's good enough for you. And why are we acting as if shopping a Southampton football club is like adopting a child from a Slovenian orphanage? Are we forgetting that former Southampton employees are sprinkled across the Premier League's top 6? Hasenhüttl for Man United, he would turn your club around. Oh, by the way, lads, I'm recording this on Sunday, so yeah, nothing about the Man City Liverpool game. Let's hope it was a good one. Alright, that's it, lads. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and as always, I'll talk to you in a while.